Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. Our last quarterfinal is Neirea versus Fr0zen. Fr0zen, during the wait for his match, has hit #1 legend on the region of North America. This is really cool. He was ranked, I think, 2 earlier today.
Yeah.
So he finally made that big push. And he's a good player. He's a good ladder player. And that should translate directly to the tournament format because a lot of these ladder decks, they're supposed to be good for our specific tournament format.
Yeah, I was actually reading a post that Fr0zen made about taking advantage of the meta and taking advantage of the chaos of the meta, and he's hit legend like multiple times in like less than 24-hour spans, which is pretty impressive considering it takes some people like 3 weeks. I mean, granted it's 24 or 20 hours of 100% playing, but still a very impressive player. We saw him yesterday quite a bit, and he had some really nice plays. And wow, he's bringing mage.
He brought a mage deck. Wow, good for him. That's the first mage, the only mage that we see in the top 8. And his opponent, Neirea, is bringing Paladin, Druid, and Warlock. Now, we saw Neirea earlier today playing, I believe, against Savitz in King Gwyn. And I didn't get to see the results of that match, unfortunately. But Neirea was in a 2-0 lead. Oh, did he play a Maz? You're right,
yeah.
He played a Maz.
Yeah.
Savitz was playing Shrifka.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get to see the end of that because we were getting ready to start. But
yeah, I didn't get to see it either.
I did watch his games at DreamHack, and while he did fall down, he still had some pretty good performances there. And I watch his stream quite a bit because I'm usually up early in the morning. That's usually when he's streaming, and I've learned a lot from watching him play. So when I learn a lot from watching someone play, I know that they're always going to be fun to watch in the future. So definitely looking forward to this series.
So Paladin versus Mage to start things off, and then a couple of mirror matches. I don't know what to think. I haven't explored this matchup too often from the Paladin side, but from the Mage side, if this is the aggressive Mage that has a lot of the mech synergies, it's a very hard deck to stop if it gets rolling.
Yes, it is.
It's one of the most powerful in recent memory that I can imagine. And
judging by the Leper Gnome, I think it's going to be that deck.
He's keeping Leper Gnome on the chance that he gets Undertaker, I suppose.
Yep.
I guess it's not mech then. If it's mech, it has like the Clockwork Gnomes, and then you get like the Blast Mage, which does 4 damage when it gets put into play.
I think mech warpers are usually in there as well.
Mech warpers, Tinkertown Technicians.
Oh yeah, the Tinkertown Technician. That's a great card.
All right, here we go. Let's see if this mage deck pays off. Neirea does have Pyromancer, which is a tool for Paladin to fight back. But right off the bat, it's like a gosh. Well, do I coin out this Pyromancer to answer the Undertaker, or do I just pass?
And pass it is.
It's got Kieran Tormage, so this has secrets. Most likely Mirror Entity, Counterspell, maybe even a duplicate.
Yeah, duplicate would be decent, but I like this choice to hold off on the Pyromancer. Because he knows that it's just going to trade in.
Spellbender? What?
Okay.
What?
In what case would a Spellbender be better than a Counterspell?
Power Word Shield, Blessing of Kings, anything that involves buffing, Mark of the Wild, Mark of Nature, Valen's Chosen.
That's true. You're just naming spells.
Rampage.
Wouldn't Counterspell just do the same thing for all those? Except you'd get a buff Spellbender.
I suppose Swipe. No, I guess you'd rather just stop Swipe.
Yeah.
Power Overwhelming.
That's true. But then it doesn't stop.
Anyways,
like
I could go on for days, the point of being. This aggression is going to be stopped, though. The secret was tested for, right, with the coin Pyromancer? Or with a coin, so that way like he knows that this Consecration will go off.
I think he might be a little bit confused.
Now it's not duplicate.
Well, now he's ruled out like just about everything, hasn't he?
I think Mirror Entity is the last thing he's afraid of.
Oh, okay.
So that might prompt him, instead of playing Senjin, he might play the Farseer.
Farseer, yeah. You always want to play something with a battle cry when you're checking for Mirror Entity. Something with little value or something with a battle cry. Well, he's starting to run out of juice already.
Yeah, well, the answer's this Mana Worm. It's usually okay to run out of answers if you're starting to piling on a lot of damage because you have Ice Lance, Frost Bolts, and Fireballs.
Yeah.
But oof, okay. I mean, if he can continue to start pushing out damage, he's got some opportunities here. But I don't know if Paladin has any spot spells, like spot removal spells. I guess Humility is one of them.
I guess he checked for Mirror Entity already.
Oh,
because he just threw down a Karen
yeah, he did, probably.
With little to no fear. On the fear spectrum, that was...
Wow, that's 13 damage.
Still not enough.
Yeah, but I think you just hero power him, right?
Or do you think he's gonna clear the Karen with a fireball?
No. This is your finishing damage. Like
because if he draws into Ice Lance next turn,
exactly.
That's game.
17.
Oh no, so it wouldn't be game because he wouldn't have enough mana to use his hero power as well.
Yeah, and now that there's a taunt to stop him, there is a heal too, a Farseer. Ice Lance number 2. Oh man, these combos. Fireballs being hovered over.
He's just gonna go for it. Okay.
Yep. Because if he draws another fireball, he wants to be able to play all of these.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's playing it in sequence. This should give a cue that Neirea needs to heal, even though it's like really tempting. So I have Tyrion, or he probably has to prioritize staying alive. So Consecration plus Farseer.
Plus Red Ring Farseer, yeah. And even if he draws into a fireball next turn, he'll still be. Oh,
he has exact lethal. If that's the case,
he'd be 1 damage off, wouldn't he? Oh no, he'd be exact lethal. Yeah, so he has to. Well, it doesn't have to draw it this turn, but.
Oh, it's so close.
Oh man.
All right, here we go. That's 9 damage. He can put it at a fireball to win the game.
Wow.
All in. There's, by the way, 11 damage on the other end. If Paladin draws... Oh, sorry. Never mind. There's 10. If there's 2 damage being drawn, he has a way to finish this.
Wow. And he's going to have 2 draws to do this next turn because he can't silence this. So it's all going to come down to these 2 draws.
Well... Oh, he can dig deep.
Oh, man.
No.
That's not it.
Oh, he still can dig.
Oh,
he still can dig.
Nope.
No!
Oh,
One
man.
more shot? One more shot?
Oh, if he gets it from this.
No, there's no way.
Can,
it's only 3 mana.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. He dug
That's
5
rough.
cards deep and didn't get
rough.
anything.
Neirea's like, oh, jeez.
Neirea was like, jeez, man. That was really close.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Fr0zen didn't get any of his secrets that had high impact.
No. That's
a big argument against Spellbender.
Yeah, it was still active at the end of that game. Yeah.
Spellbender, it's like Snake Trap. If your opponent knows that it doesn't do anything, then, well, like, it doesn't do anything. It's just like straight up, well, it's just mana that you spent or you got off of Mad Scientist that you could have spent elsewhere. Versus Counter Spell, it just takes out half of the type of cards in Hearthstone. Yeah. Or there's actually weapons count as a 3rd type, so I guess it takes out one of the 3 types of cards. Yeah. Very effective.
Yeah, so Fr0zen's going to be on the ropes now. His mage deck falls. I mean, you got to commend him for bringing in something new, and that deck has a lot of potential to just completely zero someone out.
It almost
really quickly.
won, despite... Like, Paladin stabilized at 21 health. Yeah. And there's still almost a victory on Fr0zen's end. That's how scary that mage deck is. Yeah. You just use your spells as a way to finish off your opponent. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go into a couple of mirror matchups here. Druid versus Druid coming up first, and then Warlock versus Warlock. Now, we saw Dog running the Ramp Druid earlier. And you were saying how strong a lot of pros are presuming Ramp Druid to be now with GVG being out. But do you think these guys are running something different?
Yeah, I think Fr0zen's running the fast combo that we've been seeing. Yeah. The fast druids. And I feel like Neirea will do the same. I don't think Neirea plays Ramp Druid. That's just my feeling based off of knowing Tim, talking to him, and like hearing his thoughts about the class.
Yeah. The last time I saw him run Druid he was playing like Echoing Ooze, Shaded Naxxramas, that type of like fast Druid, so...
Neirea has like almost a disrespectful way of looking at Druid. He like talks down. He's like, yeah, I just gotta play Druid, just easy mode my opponent. I don't want to think. It's like, well, what happens now? He's like, I don't want to think. I'll just play Druid. It's like, wow, it's like a very irrational hate towards Malfurion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of... Most of the plays for Druid are pretty telegraphed early on.
Alright, well, as we find a good seat, hope you guys are enjoying this. You can always tweet at ESL Hearthstone and let us know how we're doing if you guys are enjoying the event. Remember, it's only week 4. Next week, we've got a really good set of invites, too, which includes players like Tides of Time, Gar from Tempo Storm, Life Coach from Team Lucky Draw, as well as one other player we're trying to lock down. So you guys definitely want to be catching all the action here, especially since week 5 is where the stakes increase that much more.
Yeah, because the winner from week 5 and on automatically qualifies for that $20,000 land final in February. So first 4 weeks is a point system, and last 4 weeks still get points, but the winner automatically goes on.
Alright, Innervate to start smoothing out the curve for Fr0zen. How do we utilize this? Do we push out the Spectrum Knight because it's really sticky? I mean, Lotheb puts out more damage, but I think Lotheb's better. Could be better timed. He's not going to be playing spells on turn 3.
Yeah, I think Spectrum Knight is.
Spectrum Knight's better.
Definitely a better choice. And Lotheb, well, I guess in your opening hand, you're not going to really keep it in. There's not going to be really many opportunities for you to keep Lotheb in your hand to try and like block a combo later on in the game or something like that. So you're going to play it before that it comes to that, but still, Spectrum Knight's better.
Alright, Wrath then killing off the Jungle Panther. Do you think we'll ever see Drew of the Fang in competitive play? Because Jungle Panther is a beast.
I think you know my answer to this already.
We talked. The Panther is a beast.
It is a beast, but...
And when I mean a beast, I meant it metaphorically. That card is a beast. It can destroy anything, and it's also literally a beast.
I don't like Druid of the Fang. Don't like it. Not one bit. It's a great card when it's great.
Yeah, and, you know, water is wet when it's wet. Lotheb being dropped here to start challenging the board. A lot of damage has been grabbed early on from this Innervate.
We see Black
Knight.
Knight.
Do you man mode and race him? I don't think you can race him. I think you have to trade, right?
No.
Or do you race him? I don't know. This is tough. You can't get a clean trade. You race?
Race it is.
Man mode.
That's not really racing.
That's not racing at all.
It's sort of a middle ground. Oh, the
okay,
Dr. Boom.
So he's... Is he going to blink? Who's the first to blink here? If your opponent has Savage Roar, do you die? I think so, right? Let's see, he's calculating. That'd be 15 damage on board plus...
But he could put his opponent at 9.
If he has Savage Roar, he's dead, though. Like, straight up dead. If it's a Savage Roar off the top, that's game. Because that's 15 damage on board, right? And then he has Swipe. Oh, he doesn't have mana. He doesn't have mana to Swipe and Savage Roar. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Neirea's at 9. And he's got Doombots on the board. That's crazy.
Yeah, he does. He's got a Swipe though to clear the board. He can swipe everything down.
Oh,
he needs these bots to hit one of his creatures that's gonna trade. 1, 2.
Okay.
All right, that works.
That's okay. Those are gonna trade anyway.
Yep.
Not too bad, but at the same time, being at 9 health is very scary because at any point your opponent draws into Force Nature Savage Roar.
The dust has settled, and at the end of it all, a Keeper of the Grove is going to be sitting on the board.
Wow.
Do you think there's any merit to wrathing that first for 1?
Actually, maybe because you have Force of Nature right now. If you didn't draw into one piece of the combo, maybe you don't do that. But I think this is a good choice.
File the Teacher and Hero Power now instead.
This is nice.
I guess he doesn't want to take any damage. I like.
He's pretty healthy right now.
Though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty healthy. I don't know if putting himself at 19 is really going to be that big of a deal. I mean, I guess if he's scared. Did he just think about Keeper of the Groving the face?
No. It's like you're like taking the mouse off of.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. That seemed like it's specifically targeted his face.
Everyone has definitely thought about it when they first started playing Hearthstone. Like, oh man,
it's 2 damage to face. How good is that?
Yep. Just like some people thought that they could silence their own hero when it's frozen. Like if a water elemental attacks you and you're like, oh, I just silenced my own hero face.
Yeah.
All right, well, you have to heal yourself out of range and start the climb back.
It's not even, you're not even healing yourself out of range.
Well, it's like a process.
Oh, and that's it. Turn 9.
Right. Oh, look at Neirea smiling.
I don't know if that's a smile. I think that's a rage-induced smirk.
Well, it's still a smile.
At the end of the day, it's a smile.
Hey, look, it takes less muscles to smile than to frown.
I always thought that was a myth.
No, it's the reality. It's anatomy.
Okay. Well, Fr0zen going to tie up the series 1-1. And we're going to move on to the second mirror matchup, Warlock versus Warlock.
Warlock versus Warlock, but it could be Zoo versus Handlock. Yesterday, Fr0zen brought Handlock, right?
Yes.
But today, it could be different. He's allowed to submit new decks, even though he qualified to the Open. And Neirea, we know he really likes Handlock.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very fond of its playstyle. I don't think I've ever seen Neirea play Zoo.
I've never.
So I'm just going to lean towards the Handlock.
Yeah. And Fr0zen, I mean, he already switched up his decks a little bit by bringing that Mage. I can't remember what the third deck he brought yesterday was.
Warrior.
Was it Warrior? Okay. He might not even have brought the Druid yesterday.
He did bring the Druid.
Okay. Well, then I'm all sorts of lost right now. But
no worries.
I think it's going to be Handlock versus Handlock. I mean, it's possible that Fr0zen switched it up and went to Zoo. But do you really think he'd run an aggro mage, Zoo, and a Druid?
It really depends on the call of the meta, which if you think a lot of people are bringing Paladin and Warrior, Zoo's not a bad choice.
I mean, he's rank 1 Legend for a reason. So I think he understands the powerful decks right now.
I'm pretty sure...
He just played Druid all the way up?
I think he played Druid and Mage all the way up.
Okay.
I think you bring Warlock, because if you don't bring Warlock, you're messing up.
Okay.
Warlock is just too good to not bring.
Dog didn't bring Warlock.
Dog didn't bring one. So if Dog would have ever asked me, hey, what could I have done better? The first thing he said, you could have brought Warlock.
Yeah. Well, which game did he lose?
I don't know, but I know he wasn't playing Warlock.
Yeah, he should have been playing Warlock that game, and he probably wouldn't have lost. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we're going to jump into this game now. We'll get to see just if Fr0zen is bringing this Zoo or if he's going with the Handlock.
Probably. I mean, that's just what's it going to come down to. Like, what format are these guys playing, or what kind of Warlock are they playing? I haven't seen a Demon Lock, though.
Oh! It's Zoo.
It's Zoo. Okay, so Fr0zen's going to be tossing out the Zoo. He's going to be throwing out those Undertakers and those Death Rattles.
I don't know if
You don't know if you coin out Leperno?
Yeah.
Really? It's such a good. This is like one of the best starts in the game. Oh, you forgot my greetings.
In that situation, I kind of like throwing out the Knife Juggler and then throwing out the Undertaker Leperno in the next turn. That way you give your Undertaker more potential.
Oh wait, I think Fr0zen played Zoo yesterday.
Did he really?
Who's the one player that played Zoo?
Oh, it was Fr0zen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had that match.
Grunwave was Handlock.
Grunwave was Handlock.
Waifu was Handlock. Yeah, it was him. So not switching it up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, well, now he's in the same spot that he would have been, except he would have had 2 more damage on the face.
Fearless. Neirea is fearless. He taps so he can play Mountain Giant. Double Doomguard.
This is very, very bold move right here, and he's getting dangerously close to being in lethal range. Actually, I think that would be next turn. 9 damage on board with a Soulfire. No, he needs... Okay, if he heals, that's good.
Next turn, he has a lot of heal again with the Molten Giant and the
Anti-heal bot.
6, 10, 14 right now. 14 damage.
I think you hold here.
Really?
You clear the Earthspring Farseer. If he had Hellfire, he would have used it. On turn 4. I don't see a situation where he wouldn't have used it.
Possibly.
I think.
Oh, if Soulfire cost 1 mana or 0 mana, I think that would have been lethal.
I would hold.
Wow, that's so funny. Joe, okay. Well, this damage is going to the face regardless whether or not you trade with Leopard or attack.
Yeah. Well, he's going to put him at 3. And, I mean, even if he anti-heal bots and Molten Giants, he's going to be at 11 health, and he's not going to have, there's not going to be any change on the board.
There's Shadow Flame from Neirea.
Ooh.
Okay, so Molten Giant's coming down this turn no matter what. You might as well plop it.
Yep.
Fr0zen. So be him. I sense the hate threads already starting.
Yep.
Because Neirea is a pretty beloved player, but it's like,
yeah.
You don't be him, one of the most well-established ladder players.
You want to... I would have held last turn, but at the same time, I understand Fr0zen's logic because he wants to end this game as quick as possible because he doesn't want as many people to see him playing Zoo.
Sure. You owl the Undertaker? Or the Leopard Gnome? Oh, that's right, because it's damage that can get through. Very smart, so that way he plays around Soulfire. Then Sun Fury Protector and kill off the Knife Juggler.
Okay.
But does it matter?
I don't think it does.
Nope, it certainly does not with that draw.
Yeah. I don't think there was much that he could have done. I mean, he might have been able to stabilize next turn with the anti-kill bot, but... I mean, that's just tough. He had a really great start and just never had the opportunity to stabilize. So Fr0zen's going to take
this
a 2-1
is
lead.
Why Warlock's so strong, because Neirea wasn't sure if it was Handlock or Zoo either.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though he did have opening starting hands, I'm pretty sure if he knew his Zoo, he can make much more aggressive mulligans to make sure he has everything he needs.
Okay, well, now that he does know that Zoo, we are going into the blind pick phase. So how is that going to play into their decision making? So Neirea has Druid, Warlock, Druid Handlock, and...
I think you pick Handlock. If he doesn't have Hunter, I think you pick Handlock.
Even against that Mage?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. The aggressive Mage might be able to burn him through for the same reasons that Kill Command can.
Yeah. I think Mage is actually, that type of Mage is actually really good against Handlock.
Druid's okay too, I guess, if you want. It's very middle of the road.
Yeah.
But I think Handlock's really good.
I think Neirea is pretty comfortable with Handlock as well. I think it's his most experienced deck.
Well, he also has his own Druid. How does Paladin fare against the Mage? If the Paladin's good against the Mage, the Paladin's also... It's not good against the Zoo, at least based off of traditional experience. I don't know. I think Handlock is just too good.
Alright, well, Handlock versus Druid it shall be. Okay. Well, I think I favor the Handlock in this situation. But if it's a faster Druid that runs double combo, they can sometimes find windows of opportunity to just end a game out of nowhere.
Well, it really depends on the start of how Druid gets.
Yeah.
And Neirea does have some information on his opponent from playing an earlier game.
Yeah. Not that much, because the game ended pretty quickly.
Sure, but he has pretty much the general idea of what kind of Druid it is.
Yeah.
So he has a good information. Versus
I thought you were talking about the Handlock.
Oh, no. It's
okay.
Just against the Druid match.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we are going to jump into this game, but... I mean, Neirea has to come back and win 2 of these blind pick matches, which can be a little tough. Especially since at any time you could queue into a deck that's not very favorable for you. But, I mean, still a possibility. Still a possibility.
Yeah, it is. So game number 4 is about to begin. And let's go into the mulligans to see what these guys have prepared. Neirea looks like he's already tossed away almost everything. See what he's about to get back. Fr0zen with the meh start. 2 cards, very late game. He needed a much quicker start. More specifically, he knows this is Handlock. He'd rather have his silences and his anti-giant tech.
Is there any situation where you would open with Ancient Watcher into Iron Beak Owl against Druid?
Oh yeah, sure. If your hand doesn't have any
If he didn't have that Twilight Drake, you think he might go for that?
I think it's definitely something to consider. But since you do have a turn 4 play, pretty strong to do that.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the Keeper yet. Doesn't have any Keepers, so that Twilight Drake could be a little hard to deal with.
Yeah, definitely could. I don't know if he was like terribly worried about it, but now he's got Mountain Giant, so he has to have BGH, or he has to dedicate his Wrath to killing this.
Wrath and Trade both in. Just doesn't feel very good.
Nope.
He'd be left with the 1/1.
Violet Teacher and push. Like, hopefully he doesn't have Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
Except he does have Shadow Flame. Actually, doesn't even need to technically Shadow Flame. He can just you can Drake and then kill.
Yep.
Still a big threat. This match can escalate very quickly.
Yeah, if the Druid doesn't find a way to deal with these threats early on, they can just get overwhelmed very quickly.
Yeah, Wrath and Power of the Wild is a pretty nice combination, though.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, Innervate. That's why you always want to be really cautious to wait for the draw and don't play too fast. But Innervate's probably going to be sitting in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Still somewhat susceptible to Shadow Flame, but here's another question. Do you attack in? Putting him at 3 health, or 3 cost Molten Giants?
I think so. Because you're also putting him on a little bit of a clock, so what is he going to play the next turn? I mean, he could play Molten Giant, Sunfear Protective, which would sort of stop you in your tracks, but yeah, it's still pretty early. So the odds that he have, well, actually, I guess the odds are pretty high that he has that, so. But you know that you're starting to fall behind, so maybe he feels like he has to start pressuring.
Yep. Well, I like Neirea's choice here to just utilize Hellfire while he can. And now he has an opportunity to make a pretty strong wall with Defender of Argus the following turn.
Yeah, that'll be tough to deal with. But at the same time, with this Innervate, Fr0zen's starting to piece together some ways to deal quite a bit of damage in one turn.
I mean, he's got 10 direct damage in hand.
Yeah. He's actually pretty close to being able to kill him here if he had a little bit more mana to float around.
I wonder if Neirea picks up on any of the subtle things, like hovering swipe over the Ancient Watcher. Does that like telegraph that he has swipe, or is that not enough reliable information?
I think it telegraphs, because what else would you hover over that Ancient, or the Ancient Watcher? Yes. Naturalize an Ancient Watcher.
Rude fires. Yeah, you're right. Well, Molten Giant ripped off the top here for Neirea. That's great. He can put out such a large force of taunt and power if he puts the Molten Giant and the Ancient Watchers as the 2 main taunt sources.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So now he's going to be the one putting Fr0zen a little bit of clock, because this is a lot of damage that he has on the board.
Okay, and he's just going to go and not play around not Molten Giants, Black Knight. Because I think the question is, what taunts does he want? And good thing he did, because look what was just drawn. Savage Roar. That was an Innervate combo. And he's a few damage points short. But he also needs to survive, so I think he has to use this combo just to live. Otherwise, he just dies from damage.
Yeah, and I mean, once he gets to this combo, or once he gets to this wall, he's actually not in that terrible of a spot. I mean, he's still at 18 health. He's still relatively healthy. He knows that a lot of threats are gone. And if he can draw into a second combo, then he can still have the potential to finish off the game, but still it's going to be rough because he's starting to run out of cards.
That is very painful, though. You have to toss most of everything into the Molten Giant.
Well, this way he's going to take as little damage as possible to his hero and still keep the Spectral Knight alive. Even though it's at 1 health, it's still alive. So I think you just got to throw both these in. Even though you're
going to kill off the Drake?
Yeah.
Or do you attack the face?
Kill off the Drake. Actually, I don't know. I would have gone to face. 8 damage?
I think attacking the minions okay. You don't have a guaranteed way to kill.
Yeah. Only with a swipe in your hand. I mean, if you drew a second swipe, that'd be a kill, but...
That's just a one-outer.
Yeah. This way it sets him up for more potential plays in the future. And he tapped, so there's still a possibility that he could draw into that second swipe. It'd be 8 mana perfectly.
Yeah, I think Neirea is contemplating whether or not he can get away playing Twilight Drake or he has to play the Sludge Belcher. And this is technically okay, unless he drew direct damage. He's a few points off. If only you could still rat the face.
Was that once upon a time a possibility?
Yes, back in the beta. Used to be able to rat the face for 3 or 1.
I guess that was after my beta appearance.
And a lot of people, including Twitch chat, still think it's possible to this day.
Yeah. I remember Dalaran Mage used to be a 2/4 and everybody put it in their decks.
Well, yeah, because spell power was outrageous in the back in the day.
Well,
like,
if you could Wrath Face, I'm sure it was outrageous.
You can also Starfall Face.
Wow.
And then Savagery used to be...
you do your whole attack to the board,
it was like
right?
Blade Flurry.
Yeah.
You just had to put Claw and Savagery and do like 2 to everything.
Yeah.
Or 3 with hero power.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts. Alright, well, Jiraxxus comes out here from Neirea into the snap call, and Fr0zen is back at square one. How do I stop this damage? Cenarius is not going to do that much.
It's not going to do that much, but it's really... Whoa, Harrison Jones!
Harrison Jones.
I was thinking, well, I guess Cenarius is his only play, but nope. Well, Jiraxxus, I'm about to take your hands away.
Oh, that's such a big deal. And all of a sudden, Druid pulls 7 cards.
Hello!
Big Game Hunter, Silence, Swipe.
Oh, Force of Nature. All right. Well, this was looking pretty bad for Fr0zen up until that moment.
Yeah, you know, Harrison Jones being such a big decider against Handlock. How does Handlock do these last bits of damage? I don't think you can.
No.
But he's got to play the Infernals, right? Infernal Siphon Soul?
You have to make sure you Infernal every single turn from here on out, because that's going to be your only way to push through for damage.
There's no way to play around combo death, though. Unless you Shadow Flame. If you Shadow Flame, you can't present a threat. So this is his best bet to try to be defensive. Black Knight off the top.
Whoa.
Oh, that is rough. I mean, you don't need a better example of how Harrison can swing games than this. Look no further.
What's he gonna do to follow up on this, though?
This? Let's see.
He has to clear
swipe.
up.
You can swipe and then attack.
Okay.
Swipe the 1/2 and then attack Harrison into the 6/6.
Yeah. Because while he's in a good spot now.
Oh, I guess he can keep Harrison and then sacrifice the keeper. It's either way. I think the keeper is less valuable. So.
Yeah.
Oh. What? oh, come on. Come on, Fr0zen. You're better than that.
Rank 1 legend
A
player,
little bit
everybody.
nervous. A little bit nervous. You can definitely tell. It's like
Yeah.
Oh well, he's got a clear too. A natural board clear.
He's representing the rank 1 legend spot for NA very well right now.
Well, if he gets Savage Roar, all is well.
That's not a Savage Roar.
It's not a Savage Roar.
Yeah.
And if Cenarius comes down here to taunt, because he still has to be in the back of his mind worried about dying.
Yeah.
Then the Shadow Flame with the Mountain Giant. That's actually like that's just like such a big deal.
It is. It really is.
So Force of Nature to clear.
You're getting rid of one of your win conditions right there.
It just means that he's confident winning with what's in his hand.
Which is there's a lot in his hand, so I'm not surprised.
So Neirea needs to pick up like that's the second Force of Nature. So Neirea's gonna feel really comfortable here as long as he picks up a taunt of some kind.
Yeah. That's okay. They give him a way to stay in the game as it gets later on. And now that he knows Force of Nature is out of the way, the only thing he has to worry about for burst potential is just a Savage Roar. So as long as he keeps the board clear here.
Yeah, I like this play because you should be Infernoing every single turn you can.
Yes.
Just keep hitting that. Loatheb can be a big game changer as well.
He's still got some big threats as well, and Siphon Soul, so he's got ways to keep himself in, and these are really awkward turns for Fr0zen right now. He's no matter what he does, he's like floating mana or not protecting himself from damage just on the board. So Cenarius is the only option that he has right now, and it doesn't feel too good.
Wow, he's a few points off lethal here. Alright, well,
Loatheb and Siphon Soul? No, you can't do that. Loatheb Shadow Flame. No, that's what I'm... but he's still...
Now he's on a Dark Bomb draw to win the game.
That's true.
Getting rid of those taunts, he doesn't want to miss that damage. Savage Roar coming a little bit late. Ooh. It is his way to kill off this Inferno, though. He unfortunately only does 9 damage with it, 4 points off.
He would still, even if he would have to hero power after this, he'd still be okay.
Yeah. I think he's just gonna gamble that, he needs to heal. Wow.
Whoa.
He's gonna take away the possibility of power overwhelming.
Power overwhelming, yeah. He's gonna be at.
No, okay.
Okay.
So there's still a chance that he could die.
What's this draw gonna be?
That's a pretty big draw.
Yes, it is.
I mean, the fact that he has Antique Heal Bot is also pretty massive.
Antique Heal Bot, oh, not even. He's not even gonna use that now. So he's gonna save the Antique Heal Bot as well. So he's sitting pretty right now. And even though Fr0zen got that Harrison on Jiraxxus, got 7 cards out of that. Yikes. With a full hand.
Wait, maybe could he draw into Druid of the Claw and charge? Will that change anything? I don't think so.
No, it won't.
Lol.
Well, let's get through his deck. And I don't think there's any way that he can survive here.
This is when Hearthstone's like just trolling.
Oh no.
I don't think so, and I think we have a tied series on our hands going into Game 5.
I think you are correct. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. And the concede comes out. And so Neirea is going to tie this one up. And that's a pretty even matchup. And as soon as I saw that Harrison come out, I thought, oh, Fr0zen's got this one in the bag. A lot of high impact cards in his hand. So many things that he could have done, but still, it's hard to get through Jiraxxus. Even if you take away his hands, those Infernals are still really tough to deal with.
Right. The Harrison brought him back in the game.
Yeah.
He needed to draw Savage Roar a couple times.
Yeah.
Just didn't get it. He went super deep into his deck. It just didn't have the right tools to push through the last bit.
Yeah.
That said, I think Fr0zen still feels confident enough to bring Druid into this matchup again.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be seeing Handlock versus Druid one more time.
I would not be surprised at that. We talked a little bit earlier about the possibilities of them bringing other decks, but these two just make the most sense for both players. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see it now.
Sure.
It was a little bit unfortunate for Fr0zen, of course, to have a little bit of a rough start, but I still think that both players were on even footing as far as draws went. And he didn't get the Savage Roars when he needed them, but that was about the only downfall.
All right. Well, I think we're about to find out what is going to happen for Game 5. I think Neirea has no incentive to change off of Handlock.
No.
And this is what we wanted with the format in general, because we want an opportunity for people to demonstrate what deck they like to play most, and what they feel like is their best deck, without just being subjected to bad draws, and it's like a one-outer. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm done, I can't play it again. Oh, Neirea chooses to switch to Druid.
Okay.
And Fr0zen, of course, stays on Druid. He actually has little incentive to switch. I'm surprised by this.
Yeah, especially since he won the last game, and he maybe thought that Fr0zen might expect the Handlock and maybe switch it up to the Mage. Maybe that he was afraid of that in the back of his mind.
Right, and I guess the worst thing that could be is Druid versus Zoo.
Yeah. which is
not really going to happen if he thinks he's going to pick Handlock again.
Yeah, and I don't.
A lot of mind games, man.
I think
a lot of mind games.
His worst fear was queuing Handlock and getting against Mage. I think that might have been his worst fear. I think he'd be happier going Druid against Mage or against Zoo.
Well, there's an early game Innervate, and that's just so powerful.
Yes, it is.
But he's got Ancient of Lore too, so he can use that momentum on his side. Turn 3 Shade next Ramus, turn 4 Ancient of Lore.
Yeah, it can be pretty tempting to automatically just go ahead and Innervate out the Shade. But delaying the Shade one turn to get an Ancient of Lore a turn quicker.
Well, now turn 3, or turn 2 Spectre Knight, and then turn 3 Shade.
Wow, okay. That's also a possibility as well. This is a tough choice, because if you use the Innervate now to get the Spectre Knight out, you're delaying that Ancient of Lore, which is pretty juicy. Turn 5 Ancient Lore is like, ugh.
Well,
I want it.
I mean, this pretty much almost wins Fr0zen the game. Almost. I mean, how do you come back here if you're Neirea? You don't actually have a play.
Nope. He literally doesn't have a play this turn.
Well, that's what hero powers are for.
That's a very underwhelming play. And he's still got follow plays. It's not like he just innervated out that Spectral Knight just to do nothing following it up.
No, that's where the Shade's like, that's pretty bad. And then from Neirea, he played the Yeti. Swipes might be able to bring you back if your opponent gets careless, but I don't think Fr0zen will.
No, I mean, there's not many things you have to play around in this situation besides swipe, so.
But say Fr0zen gets a little careless and like he attacks with Shade here. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's like, yeah, maybe. Well, the Shade is growing. And the threat is looming. Fr0zen going to drop his BGH just for more pressure. I think now he might reveal his Shade. Just so he takes less damage and forces his opponent in awkward spots.
Yeah. But swipe will be a pretty good.
How bad do you wish you have Starfall? Seriously.
This would be one of the only situations where I'd say, you know what, really bad.
Ah, well, I guess if Fr0zen goes for this trade instead.
It's not very often that a lot of creatures are just stuck at 2 health. Especially against a mirror matchup.
Okay, so he opts to keep his Shade.
I think that's pretty smart, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, because then he's guaranteed more value out of it, where if a swipe comes out next turn and he had thrown that Shade into the Sledge Belcher, then it would just be fodder for the swipe. I mean, it'd be at 1 health. So he could swipe anything and still be able to pick up the Shade. So protecting it right now is pretty good.
Alright, so this is an opportunity for Neirea to clear some of the minions on the board. And this is where he crosses his fingers and hopes that Fr0zen doesn't have anything. He's got Black Knight, just straight up vanilla, and that's just like a Yeti.
Yeah.
So it's still not even that poor for Fr0zen.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we Black Knight, right?
Yeah. The only other target that you're going to get with that the only target against this type of deck that you're going to get with Black Knight is Druid of the Claw. And a lot of times in the mirror matchup, you're just going to charge the Druid of the Claw anyway.
Well, he has Sledge Belchers.
Oh yeah, Sledge Belchers.
So that's something.
Well, he's been through 1 Sledge Belcher.
Right.
But that's really annoying to deal with otherwise. So, I don't know. This is tough. To be honest, I would just Hero Power.
You would just Hero Power?
Well, at the beginning of the turn, no, because I forgot about Sledge. Whoa!
Full Dennis. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta go for it. It's a lot of damage.
Wow.
It is a lot of damage. I mean, now you swipe back, right?
Yeah. I'll take your swipe and I'll raise you a
swipe.
swipe.
You swipe and you don't have an opportunity to play anything on the board.
What else are you going to do? Put down a Yeti that's going to go up against a 7/5 Shade next turn that's just going to trade evenly? That's just going to get your Yeti for free?
Yeah. But then he Ancients first, Ancient of Lore first, and then you Ancient of Lore. That's pretty painful.
Yes, it is. Oh, there's the Savage Roar. And now that he doesn't have a really clean heads-up way to be able to deal with this, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and heal. Smart play there. But even if he has combo, Well, he'd be 1 mana short.
Yeah, Neirea realizing that it's very difficult to pull back from this spot.
Yeah.
What if I was like, what if he picks up Innervate? Can he double combo? But he can't. He'd be a little bit short mana-wise.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of damage on both sides. Neirea has to go for a full clear this turn, right?
Yes. Oh.
Or if he plays Druid the Claw and Taunt.
Yeah.
And then trades one of the 5/5s.
That'll keep him alive. But not by much, or would it?
It would keep him barely alive, I think.
He'd be able to do, if he traded 1 creature plus his face damage in, he'd have 7, 11, 15. Ooh,
yep, barely
one off.
alive.
1 off.
I think you Black Knight this.
Yeah.
Black Knight, and then
it's a good thing I had that fantastic idea of saving Black Knight.
That's right. This game was all you, man. This game was all you. Ah. Okay. I guess it effectively works just the same way.
Yeah, and you're putting a really, really sticky creature on the board.
Wait, but what if you Loatheb?
Oh no! That puts a wrench in his plans.
No. If you Loatheb, still the same problem. He just kills you. That's a lot. It's a lot of damage on board.
Wait, he kills you?
Yeah. If you Loatheb, he just Savage Roars.
He'd only be able to do
1 Savage Roar. So
there'd only be 9 damage. He'd clear the Ancient Allure here.
Oh yeah.
Unless he's feeling really bold and just goes face with this Yeti.
You also could combo.
Yeah.
If you combo here, it's effectively the same thing.
Yeah. I like combo here. You're running 2, so then you'd have Initiative on board.
If you play combo here, though, you die. If you play Scenarios here, you die, because the 2 Teutons don't stop enough, right? Oh, it does. Once again, you're stopped by you're stopped by 1 health.
Yeah, it's the same exact situation.
That's
same
funny.
exact situation. Well, he thought this one through, and now he's going to have the Loatheb as a follow-up play. So
here we go. Violet Teacher, Wrath, Power of the Wild, or Wild Growth. I don't know. Just play a bunch of spells, and then Power of the Wild at the end of it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Jeez, dude.
This is going to be a board full of very, very powerful tokens.
Jeez, dude. Look at this. This is crazy. This is actually bananas. So he's going to have a full board of 2/2s with Violet Teacher and Scenarios at a 6/9. Okay, so if Neirea was genius enough to play Poison Seeds, followed by a Starfall,
yes,
now would be the time. You know what's actually hilarious? Neirea could have won if he got Innervate.
He could have. Double Savage Roar would have won in the game. By quite a bit, actually. That would have been like 5 overkill.
Just about.
6 overkill, actually.
So, if, I don't know if Neirea can pull himself out of this one. Does Loatheb save him at all?
He can...
So if you Loatheb and you kill off Scenarios, like you Loatheb Savage Roar, is there a way for him to pull out of this situation?
Okay, so if he Loathebs and then Savage Roars, he would clear off one of the tokens plus the Scenarios. So there'd still be 10 damage on the board. He'd be at 14 health. No. He's dead. 1 Savage Roar. Not even. Half a Savage Roar. Cut it in half.
He needs to Loatheb, Shadow Step Loatheb.
Yes.
Followed by Explosive Sheep. Where's the Explosive Sheep?
If you Loatheb, Shadow Step Loatheb, it makes your spells cost 10 more mana.
I don't know.
You seem so sure in that play.
Enemy spells cost 5 more the next turn, so I'm assuming if you play it, you're going to do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Looks like that's going to be it then, right? The Savage Roar should be enough, no matter how much you cut it.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, Fr0zen's going to advance 3-2 over Neirea, and the #1 ranked player is going to have another chance to go into the semifinals. Well done.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit disappointing because Neirea comes in here as one of the guys that you expect to do really well, but fortunately you can't win them all.
Yeah, and Fr0zen, being rank 1 legend, you know he has a really great grasp of the meta right now. And since this tournament is sort of has similarities to Ladder in a way because of the sort of blind hero pick stage, it really makes it that much better for you to have that Ladder experience. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets top 2 today just because of how much experience he has right now with the decks.
I'm surprised that Neirea switched away from Handlock, though.
Yeah, I'm really surprised as well.
I like that deck in general, just based off the lineup of Fr0zen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think he was trying to play a little bit too sly of like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to try to see if I can outpick the counterpick. In the end, we have 4 players who remain: Backspace, Waifu, Dog, and Fr0zen. 2 players who came in through the open bracket portion.
Yeah.
2 players who are the invites.
Yeah, this is really exciting actually because it's sort of a matchup, and it's one of the invites versus one of the open qualifier guys, and then one of the invites versus one of the open qualifier guys. So it really shows you how much it means to these guys coming all the way up to the open bracket and making it through. It would be cool if we saw both of the open qualifier players actually make it through to the final 2, but we'll have to see.
All right, we'll have to see for sure. That series was brought to you, by the way, by Crucial and Western Digital. Make sure to check out all the cool stuff, esl.gg/neweggiesports. You can find out more information on the page. And we want to give a thank you to everyone who makes this tournament possible. We're going to take a few minutes to get ourselves reset. That was a pretty long one. When we come back, we're going to have the semifinals to determine who is going to get an invite to next week and get one step closer to the $20,000 LAN finals happening in February. We'll be back, guys.